Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Fine, thanks.
Good. I'm going to let a few more people jump on the call and then I'm going to go live inside the group and we'll get started.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, we are live inside the group. My connection is hanging on by a thread. We're getting new internet here soon, so that is going to be amazing. So, Araceli, you are on first. You want to jump in and share some wins for your week?
Sure. Well, I've been getting a lot of business lately, which I'm still pushing through, and I should be closing one of them next week, God willing.
That's fantastic. God willing. You just got to assume the feeling, right? Create the emotion that you want. Good for you. Is it a closing as a realtor, like a retail closing?
Yes.
Good for you. That's exciting. We're going to celebrate you on that.
Thank you.
Miss Sherry is on, back from New York. Or are you coming from New York?
No, I got back the other day. I got back Sunday night.
Oh, okay. I thought I read yesterday was your last day, but I probably didn't look at the date and it was a different one. So
Oh yeah, there was probably like a lag in that.
yeah, sometimes that happens. It drives me crazy. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm missing all these posts from like 4 days ago. All right, so tell us, what has your experience been in New York?
It was so much fun. We loved it. Aiden
Yeah.
had like the best time ever.
How's the weather there?
So, it was cold, but it wasn't too bad
Okay.
because since we knew it was going to be cold, we just dressed appropriately and
Yeah.
it really wasn't that bad. Of course, we had all this adrenaline, so that helps too.
Did you
But,
guys do the touristy thing?
oh yeah,
See
we
some
like
stuff?
rode like a hop on, hop off bus, and then we stayed right on the water
Oh wow.
um, in the financial district, and so
Okay.
we were really close to like the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. So we just like walked to the ferry where you get on,
Okay.
and we did like the Museum of Natural History. We went to Wall Street. Aiden wanted to ride the subway. We went to
Aw.
Times Square, Rockefeller Center, FAO Shorts. Um, yeah, so it was fun.
Super cool. I
Yeah.
want to go to New York and do the touristy thing at least once in my life.
Oh my God, it was so much fun. Like you would literally have to spend like 3 weeks there to do everything.
Yeah.
There's so much.
I have a friend that lives in Syracuse, but it's like a 4-hour drive from New York. So I'm like,
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know. I mean, I'll make some time to. You could drive halfway, or you guys can meet us in New York. But I don't really want to go to Syracuse.
Right.
All right. Well, you're gonna love today's call because we're gonna talk about procrastination and
Oh yay.
indecision.
That's my favorite.
I know, right? So it's interesting because after we had our coaching call last week, I saw on
Uh-huh.
Facebook that you had posted that you were procrastinating on packing for your trip to New York.
I know, I totally was.
And I was like, that little stinker. I'm gonna have a talk with her when she gets back. So here's the thing with procrastination. A lot of people want to change procrastination with action. But you're procrastinating based on the thoughts that you're thinking. And because there's only two of you on the call, Araceli, I think that you're at work, so I don't know if you can be interactive. But Sherry, you and I will go back and forth on this because I know that that is something that you have communicated that you struggle with. So with procrastination, oh, Miss Veronica, we're gonna acknowledge Miss Veronica for showing up. Hello.
Good morning, you guys. I am so sorry. I am trying to get I got so many meetings. They just go all over everywhere. I'm trying to get these things together. So
No,
please
and this
accept my
week was
apology.
no, you're fine. This week was my fault. Being the whole new mommy, I don't even think to put Caden's calendar into my calendar. And so she's got 2 days this week where she's on half day because it's teacher student conference week. And so my whole week, I'm trying to like shift all these things around because I wasn't aware of that. So, but I did want to get some feedback on whether or not you guys like the 9 a.m. call as opposed to the 11, because I can do either one. You could come to see. Have a great day. Because I can do either one. I kind of left it open, and I would like to do a second one in the evening during the week. So if you guys have some feedback, if you like him at 9, if you want to keep him at 11, if you don't care, you can show up anyway. I am live inside the Facebook group, although it's, oh, actually, yeah, I can't see anybody on. So, and that's okay. A lot of people, like I have a coach, you guys know that, and I don't show up for the group calls just because my attention span is like, just tell me what to do and I'll go do it. So I don't ever judge anyone that doesn't show up on the call. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. And who it is for is here. So Veronica, you're totally fine with yeah, you're good. You're not late at all. Do you have any wins that you want to celebrate with us before we get started?
Let me think about it, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You just raise your hand or type it in the comments when you're ready. Okay, so this week we are talking about procrastination and indecision. So if you're following the boot camp, this entire week it was actually going to be decide and affirm. So we're going to make some new decisions and then we're going to affirm the new decision. But we decided that I decided that decision is such a powerful topic, and our whole life is based on decisions that we're either making or not making, because indecision, you're really just setting yourself up to fail by not making the decision. And so we chose to spend the entire week. Now they don't get an hour with me, they get 20 minutes with me, and none of them have, well, some of you guys are doing it, but they don't have the one-on-one coaching. So they're just kind of getting like fire hose of information shared with them. But this week is all about, and today's topic is all about procrastination and indecision. And I think a lot of people try to change procrastination or just get in action. And that will never work, because you're procrastinating based on the thoughts that you're thinking. And so I really want you guys to create that awareness this week of, and Sherry, we can just kind of put you on the spot if you're comfortable with sharing. You procrastinated and knew you were packing for New York. So if you were to ask yourself, what feelings was I feeling before I decided to finally get up and pack? Those are the feelings that are keeping you in procrastination.
Yeah.
So are you comfortable with sharing any of those? And it totally don't have to. This can be one way, just creating an awareness around it.
No, it's totally fine. No, I'm just literally like, oh crap, I got to do this right now.
Yeah.
Like I pushed it to the point where it was like, all right, I have to do it.
This is the work.
You know, like I'll get it done by the time I'm supposed to, but it's literally like down to the wire.
Yeah. So a lot of times, and Sherry, you can tell me if you agree with me, but so a belief is a thought that you think over and over and over and over. So if you have the thought, I am a procrastinator, and you've said it to yourself for 20 years, you now identify as I am a procrastinator. But that's actually not the truth. There's a feeling, and it's usually laziness. So remember, our brain is going to find ways to avoid pain, and packing's not exciting, or seek pleasure. So if we don't want to pack because we don't enjoy the task, and Netflix is on, or we're playing with our kid, that's seeking pleasure. By default, your brain is going to pick both of those. I'm not going to pack, and I am going to go seek pleasure. And that is the lower brain. That's the survival brain. That's the amphibian brain. I've got a comment. You are so spot on. I never thought of it that way. This is the work. So everyone wants to talk about the strategies, and I want to talk about your thoughts about the strategies. And if you're identifying with, I'm a procrastinator, I'm a quitter, I quit a lot of things, right? There is someone that's in our coaching program that feels like she's a quitter. And she's been identifying that for 10, 20, 30 years because someone else told her that. But what if we just put on a different pair of glasses and looked at it in a way that she is actively seeking her passion each and every day, and when she finds it, she won't quit? Like, quitting doesn't have to be a bad thing. Do you know how many jobs I've had in my early 20s? I mean, when I was 25, I got into retail management, so I got sucked into the whole golden handcuffs. I make plenty of money and I'm not going to go look for anything else. But I had to go, I was in MLMs, I was in direct sales, I was a hostess at 3 different restaurants. Like, I had done some things and then just figured out I like bossing people around. So management worked out for me and I got paid very well. So quitting is not a bad thing. Like, one of the things, and it'll probably be next week's talk, depending on what we, yeah, Veronica, so we'll talk about that. Depending on how far we get on this call, is I want you guys to get excited to fucking suck. Like, seriously, back to the toddler. That little boy or that little girl crawled and crawled and crawled and crawled, and got up one day and fell, and got up one day and fell, and got up one day and fell until it didn't, and it learned to walk. Every single one of you are going down some kind of entrepreneurial or quit my job path, and you're like pissed off that you're not making 20 grand out of the gate. Like you forgot that there's a crawling process. And most people don't even know that their thoughts are where they should be starting with the foundation, right, of why they're making decisions. Or so Veronica's comment is fear of not being able to accomplish, or if I am making the right decision. So let's talk about that. If you have a decision to quit my job, and we'll just say that I'm Veronica and I work full-time for XYZ, and I want to quit my job and I want to do real estate investing in Renata's full-time. Okay. So how do I make that decision? For one, you start with your emotions. How does one of them feel? Right? If there's fear of unknown, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to embrace it, because the fear of the unknown is because you're not allowing yourself to think through the process. You've immediately shut it off by saying, I'm not smart enough, I'm not capable, I don't know how, I don't have the money. Your mind cannot go and find any more answers if you've shut it off. And you've decided, if you've decided for that limitation of I don't have the money or I don't have the knowledge, you're done, and you're stuck. You're stuck at indecision. If we took the time and some pen and paper and said, I would like to quit my job in 6 months and do Renata's real estate investing full time. Then you start asking powerful questions. Who has done it in Renata's that I could take to lunch and maybe model their behavior, pick their brain? Maybe they'll take me under their wing. What systems can I put into place to do my strategy of choice, right? Depending on if you're doing velocity banking, or you want to fix and flip, or you want a rental or notes. What process can I put into place? When, like, the first decision that y'all need to make is that you're going to freaking put your mindset first. That's like, when you decide to focus on your mind and your thoughts, you're now creating space for new thoughts to come in, new ideas to come in, because you've just opened that up to the universe and said, you know what? My mind is my ATM machine. You master this, you never have to worry about anything for the rest of your life. It's why millionaires and billionaires, and I adopted the word dillionaires, they'll lose it because they didn't become it quick enough, but they get it back twice as fast because they've mastered the mind. Now they know how to go get it. Everybody says their first million was the hardest, and from there it just pours in. My first 10 grand was the fucking hardest. God, it was miserable. But looking back on that 6 months, I was in so much resistance and like, I just want it. And there's no flow. There's no knowing. There's no universal intelligence. And I didn't know any of this. This was in 2016. I didn't know any of this stuff. I had just started to read Wallace Wattles and The Science of Getting Rich was my go-to, by the way, free on YouTube. It's 2 hours. You can finish it on a freaking drive in a day. Like, it's so simple. But I didn't know any of that stuff. And I was blocking all of the money coming in until one day I didn't. And that second month it was 20, and that third or fourth month it was 30 grand. And it was like the gate. It's like, if you ever hear Bob Proctor, he's like, once it opens, you just look back and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Right? But it's because you're creating a foundation and you're creating new neural pathways. So if you have the thought, I am a procrastinator, get rid of it. How do we get rid of it, right? We have to install new hardware. It's not with action. It's not with time blocking and I'm going to get up at 9 and I'm just going to do it. Like, that won't work because you have the same thoughts reoccurring. You've got to change the thoughts. So I want you guys to write down, your homework for this week is to be very aware of how you're feeling when you're procrastinating. And I'm a victim of procrastination, 1000%. And if I look back on when I'm procrastinating, I'm feeling confused about the thing that I want to do. I am learning how to build sales funnels right now, and it could be overwhelming. I have lead pages. I see everyone and their mom using ClickFunnels, and I'll get myself into a place of overwhelm. And that's because I'm a visual person. I see the end. I'm always living in my 7-figure moment, my 7-figure Jennifer. So for me, the sales pages are done. They're bringing in cash and I'm good, right? Connecting the dots is where we get procrastination or indecision. Should I use lead pages or should I use ClickFunnels? Should I have a 1-page opt-in? Should I have a website, right? Make a decision and go. Get off the bench and get into the field. That is where the magic happens, because when you make a decision, now again, you're opening up that channel for universe intelligence to say, all right, sweet, I got it. Now let me go get what we need in place, right? There's no such thing, Ms. Veronica, as a right decision. A decision is a decision, and the decision keeps you in action, and action creates confidence. So there's no right decision and there's no wrong decision, especially if the decision makes you feel good. Because our emotions are priority uno. Feeling good every single day. This is our life. So if you're making a decision and you feel amazing about that decision, that's definitely the right decision. If you've made a decision and you're still feeling kind of like unsure, you just keep asking yourself better questions. How could I get more sure? You know, I plan on linking up with Sherry because I know that she understands how to automate some of my Facebook stuff.
You know what? I was going to tell you, don't use ClickFunnels.
Well, and so this is how awesome the universe is too. Because I know I'm growing a business, I'm all about the affiliate links too. And Lead Pages today just came out with an affiliate link, and I'm like, perfect. I don't need to go anywhere. As long as Lead Pages, and I'm creating a membership thing, and it's either going to be Lead Pages or Teachable. And if Sherry, if you know anything about that, we'll talk about that offline.
Okay, yeah.
But here is the challenge for people like myself. I am an information seeker. I'm addicted to being better than I was yesterday, to the point that it will actually inhibit me because I'm watching the next webinar, I'm watching the next coach, I'm watching the next thing. But every single answer, intelligent decision making, is the awareness to know that there is a universal intelligence within me that has all of the answers, and I need to not look for it on Facebook and on here and doing this and doing that. We do need coaches. Every one of us needs a coach of some sort. I've got 4 of them right now. Like, I like my coaches. They force me to show up. They force me with accountability. One of them just talked about procrastination the other day, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. I'm going to talk about procrastination and indecision. Right? But so back to that, if we are not making a decision, you are setting yourself up for failure. Like, let that sink in. The decision to not make a decision is setting you up for failure, because what are you doing? And if progress equals happiness, and we're not making any decisions, now we have no progress, and there's that stuck feeling. I'm stuck in my business, I'm stuck in my relationships, I'm stuck in my health, right? So the way to get out of stuck is to make a new decision. Now, 2 things that we're going to do this week. We are going to install new thoughts, new neural pathways, and they're not going to be 0 to hero. You guys know I don't like that. Excuse me. You're not going to go from I am a procrastinator to I'm a dynamite action taker, because your subconscious mind is going to say, bullshit, no, you're not, and it will not land. But if you make the decision that you no longer want to procrastinate, because it starts first with the decision, then we install new hardware that says, I'm getting better at taking action quicker. I love knowing that I'm becoming a person of action. I'm getting better every day at not procrastinating, which I don't love, because then I feel like the energy is still on the word procrastination as opposed to, making a decision or doing something. But still, you can say it the same way. Like, I love knowing that every single day I'm, getting closer to my goals because I'm doing two things every day to move your business forward. That's all that we want to do. Right? So does anyone have any questions or comments on the thoughts around, or even like an awareness? Like, Veronica, if you were to look and say, I have a fear of not being able to accomplish or not being able to make the right decision. So let's talk about that real quick, and then I want you to unmute. You have two brains, right? You have your lower amphibian mammalian brain that is a hunter and gatherer brain that is only going to keep you alive. It will never, ever, ever even assist in helping you to thrive. It is there to keep your heart beating, keep your lungs going. It will not allow you to feel any sort of fear, right? Or anything uncomfortable, like there's no going outside of the box. And it was necessary a million years ago when we were hunters and gatherers, because we weren't necessarily forward thinking at that time. We were getting food and we were providing for our family. So we needed our survival instincts. They do not do us a service in today's day and age, because your lower brain that's keeping you alive is also telling you, no, Veronica, that's scary, because your lower brain always equips fear with death. We can't do that because we might fail, we might not make any money, we might lose our house, and then we die. We can't do that because what if it doesn't work? And what if this happens? And what if we lose our house? And what if we lose all our money and then we die? Everything equates from the lower brain into death, if you were to keep going down that rabbit hole. So your lower brain is never, ever, 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 ever going to help you survive. And if you constantly, which 98% of people live from their lower brain, they're in survival mode, they're living for Friday and hating life on Sunday night or Monday, right? There's no forward thinking, there's no progress, they're strictly in survival. And if you're in survival, you're not creating. There's no energy to create because all of your energy is surviving. So when we can get outside and get above of our higher self, and the higher self is infinite intelligence that created you and that made you perfect in its image, whether you call it God or I call it universe, right? Universal intelligence, higher intelligence, created me in a perfect image. It doesn't know ugly. It doesn't know stupid. It doesn't know I can't. It doesn't know any of that stuff. It doesn't have an opinion. It only is. So as we be human beings, we are the ones that are creating the anger and the resentment and the fear. None of that exists in the natural world. You don't see trees and living in fear that they're not going to grow. You don't see flowers in competition with each other like you're more beautiful than I'm beautiful. You're bigger than me. And you don't see birds and squirrels that are all stressed out that they're not going to find their food. Everything that they need is provided for them. They live with a sense of knowing. We have the capability to live in that sense of knowing as well. And when we remember that and create the space between the thought and the thinking about the thought, and remember, constantly remind ourselves, is this thought coming from my lower brain or my higher brain? If I'm living in fear of failure, that's my survival brain. But if I start living in possibility and projecting into the future, Veronica in Spain or Barcelona, I know she wants to go somewhere without her kids, all by herself, reading books on the beach, right?
Greece.
Okay, Greece. I apologize. They're all amazing. If she's living into that person, and Veronica, write this down. What does that Veronica need to believe in order to fulfill that dream? Because every one of you, your results are based on your beliefs today. So until we override survival and start getting into possibility, higher self, we can't survive. We will stay stuck in the same place, in the same habits, with the same thoughts, making excuses and being victims of life and saying, well, I can't do it. That's a bunch of bullshit. But it takes work because you have to come from here up to here. You have to separate. You are not a procrastinator. You have a strong ass neural pathway that says you're a procrastinator. And the only way to disconnect that, because it is a physical thing in your mind, is to stop giving it energy so that it can tear apart. And that's how it works. And then create a brand new one that will start this teeny tiny little guys right here that say, I'm getting better every day at making action. And when we leave this neural pathway alone and we re-cement this one, that is how it works. Now you are rewiring your brain. You're redesigning for what you want to think and what you want to create. And now you're not living from a place of reaction. You're living from a place of responding, and that's called emotional intelligence. Veronica had a great experience with this, and then Veronica, I will let you unmute and you can talk about any ahas that you're having. But she had commented, I don't think it was last week's call, I think it was on one of the group coaching, on the boot camp calls, that someone had said that they were upset with her. And instead of immediately reacting like, why does this person have any right to be mad at me? I didn't even do anything, la, 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 right? All of the shit that survival brain is saying, she decided to, I'm going to hear this person out. And that's where the magic happens, is just creating that space. There's the thought that comes in, which 90% are the same thoughts that you had yesterday. And then there's the thinking about the thoughts. And you can start asking yourself and seeing, is this coming from my survival brain or my thrival brain? And your thrival brain is possibility. It's how can I? When can I? Who can I do this with? It's not I can't, I'll try, I don't have the money. None of that is true. It feels true until we create the new neural pathways. So Veronica, you want to unmute and share?
All I can say is, Jennifer, you are hitting it. You're hitting a nail on the head, and I never thought of it like that. I have always said that I am a procrastinator, but I have never actually stopped to think, what is causing me to procrastinate? Is it that I don't like doing that particular thing that I need to do? How do I turn my mind around to think of it in a positive way instead of a negative way? How maybe not to put so much on myself at one time, and then maybe there won't be any procrastination because you take it one step at a time. But I never thought this thinking stuff, I have thoughts in my head, but I never really think about the thoughts that I have.
No one does.
I know, and when you say this, even in the boot camp, please don't underestimate that boot camp. We are getting more than a little bit. We're getting a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, in that boot camp, a lot in that boot camp. And that boot camp and this, it just helps me to bring things more into perspective, to not be maybe so hard on myself, to appreciate the little things that I do get accomplished during the day. But to also continue to focus on the things that I want to accomplish. Going to Greece, I said I want to buy a new house this year, but keep it in focus. Keep saying to myself, I was thinking about the new house. Okay, Veronica, how do you want your new house? What do you want your new house to look at? See your new house.
That's right.
And I kept getting confused because I wanted this, no, not that. So I'm still trying to put that new house, but I know I want a new house. I know within the next 5 years, when I want to retire, I want to go to Greece. Now, putting those things into action, the little bitty things that I need to do, this class is so helping me
Thank you.
to get those little steps in place so that at the end I can accomplish those big things. I
Yeah.
still have a lot of things, especially in my investment
Yep.
portion, to stop being afraid of, to release it. But now I know to stop and think. What is it, Veronica, that's making you afraid to go to the next step? You know, so I just want to say thank you so much. You are fantastic, and I love your energy, and I love what you're saying, because it is so on spot that it just made me drop a tear. Okay, that's how so on spot that you are on, and I truly appreciate it. And you're right with this and the 20 day boot camp. I'm telling you, I am looking forward to the changes as they're coming along. And sometimes I don't get to say, put on there my aha moment, but you believe me, I am having many aha moments because of what you and Crystal are sharing and what you share here. So thank you so very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing, because that is why I do what I do, because no one taught me that thoughts are things. I didn't know I needed to hire a mindset coach. I hired a strategy coach, and I was doing strategies, and there would be months I'd make a lot of money, and then there'd be months I wouldn't. And I'm like, what the fuck is the difference? But I am so addicted myself to being better. And Grant Cardone has a book, Be Obsessed or Be Average, right? I am obsessed with my mind and mastering it, because I know that that is the master key to my health, my relationships, my finances, like everything that I desire. In fact, my birthday is in 2 weeks and I'm turning 40. And I told my mom, I'm like, I feel like it's like I just graduated school and like now my life is beginning. Like it's, for me, it's like, I don't like the word rebirth. I was trying to think of because I'm trying to do like a theme, like, but it's literally like I'm coming into my power because I finally understand how to focus correctly on what I want. And then more importantly, and we'll get into this part next, when it comes to procrastination, so I want you to create the awareness, right, of what thoughts are keeping you from doing the thing. And if it's fear, then fear of what? Because, for instance, with Renatus, right? Like, I'm afraid that I was always afraid someone is going to ask me a question and I'm not going to know the answer. And so I didn't ever do phone calls. Like Kevin Sparks was trying to teach me to do phone calls with people, and I was like deathly afraid, like, no, they might ask me a question and I won't know the answer, or they'll think that, what if they find out I'm really not a great real estate investor? I've only done a few wholesales, and they might find out the truth, or I'm doing fix and flips, or like all of this shit that's not even freaking the truth, right? But it kept me small because the people that I was seeking the guidance from were teaching me the strategy and not the fundamentals of what I'm thinking about that strategy, or thinking about how I'm serving people. And based on, luckily, I was so blessed to sell my house and make enough money to chill for a year, basically. And I sat here with books, and I read, and I developed, and I helped other people, and I created masterminds, and I coached, and I was like, this is what I want to do. This is my topic. This is my passion. And in fact, for those of you that know Mr. Michael Huggins, he actually sent me a friend request 3 days ago. And I was like, that's interesting, because in Renatus, they used to call me the future Michael Huggins, but I didn't ever want to be like Michael. I love Michael, by the way. Love and respect how that guy has grown. But back in the day, he talked about going through John C. Maxwell's course, right? So he learned that thoughts are things, and then he happens to have the passion about Renatus that I have about mindset training. Now, I still have a passion about Renatus, don't get me wrong. But I tend to want to recruit for Renatus, and then I want to like, come here, let me help you have better thoughts so that you can be successful in real estate, right? So this is kind of like my lane. And so I was grateful that he sent me a friend request. He just made $1 million in the last 18 months, and that was several months ago. In fact, might have even been last year, I guess. It was last conference that he had talked about that. So I'm sure he's making $1 million in 12 months now with the Renatus education, but he had to become that person. He had to become that person. He grew into that by reading books and getting coached, not by recruiting for Renatus. It does not work that way. Zach, great example. Zach is becoming a leader, running an office to make 6 figures. The guy's probably going to make it in a month pretty soon, right? But he had to become that person, and he had to instill new hardware and new beliefs in order to make that true for himself. This should be a class in Renatus. This would keep us from losing so many people. Oh, I know. Actually, Veronica, I think I'm going to email Bob Snyder. And yeah, I see that coming down the pipe. So we will see. Maybe we'll send them this coaching program, our group coaching call.
If they can add someone on for health, all right, the big guy that they just added on for health.
Yeah.
So he's some kind of weight person. But
yeah,
anyway,
Ron Williams.
Yes. If they can put him on, I'm telling you, what you're speaking of, this is why we lose so many people, because they get lost. They don't know how to turn the mind, how to think, how to do what they need to do in order to be successful. But it all starts here. I don't care how much money you have or what you do. If you don't have it up here, all this Renata stuff, it's not gonna come together. And I think when they say iOS and they say learn how to use, I think this should be a class that Renatus has. And I think you would definitely be a great coach. And even if it started right in our own group, I think it would. I'm gonna hit Zach up and tell him he needs to get with this. Truly. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna this will be a recording. So maybe I'll upload it and send it on YouTube to Bob Snyder and be like, here's what I do.
Yes, for real, yes.
So, but thank you for that. I am very, very passionate about teaching people how to think differently, because when you master your mind, you master your entire life. And it won't matter what strategy you pick. Bob Snyder could not he'll make mistakes. We all will, and learn from them, right? But his mindset is such of abundance, by the way, which is why he thrives off of those awards. He thrives off of giving people. He loves the conferences. And I'm the same way. Like, those are my love languages. It's giving to other people. My form is giving in the form of a coaching program right now, but I intend to be my own version of a Bob Snyder in my own coaching program on mindset. And maybe it is a coach in Renatus. It's actually so funny now that I'm like, because now I'm thinking, I'm like, I have always dreamed of standing on that stage, but it was never because I did $1 million in real estate. It was because I wanted to be a personal development coach. And Woody has his own thing, but he teaches it differently than I do. I'm all about just your thoughts and the chemicals released by your thoughts and how to overcome them, how to be bigger than yourself. So yeah, that's exciting. So, okay, does anyone else have any takeaways before we really get into what you're going to do this week? Okay, so 1, think back to last week, yesterday, this morning. When you procrastinate, what are the thoughts right before? Right before you're procrastinating, either right before you finally say, now I'm going to get up and do it, or when you know you could have had the opportunity, you could have done it 3 hours ago, 2 hours ago on Monday morning. What are your thoughts when you make the decision to procrastinate? What are they? And write those down. Get them out on paper. You got to see them. That's the work. And then number 2, I want you to think of the last time that you mastered your day. I mean, like, you were on it, things were working for you, you were getting things done, you were in action, you were confident. What emotions were you feeling that day? And what thoughts were you thinking that day? And write that down. Because you have procrastination and then you have action. And the gap right here is the magic. So when you know what thoughts you have that keep you in procrastination, and when you know based on your own experience, so it's true, right? We're not recreating something. You've done this, you've mastered your day, and you know what thoughts you have. Now, bye-bye. We learn how to create this energy and create these thoughts before you can procrastinate. And now you become a person of action. The other thing that you can do that will help is if you normally have every day you have certain things that you do, right? 5 things, 10 things, or every week you have 30 things, right? I want you to cut those things in half just for a week or even a few days. So if you normally have 5 things that you do, we'll say 6 and make it easy. If you have 6 things on your day to day, I want you to cut it in half, and I want you to do those 3 things 100%. What this will do is teach you and reinstill confidence and completing a project, which will create chemical neural pathways, chemicals in your brain of feeling good. And when we do that continuously, because here's what happens. If we have a list of 10 things and we habitually don't get it done because we habitually call ourselves procrastinators, you're chipping away at your self-confidence. And now you're living with the thought of, I am a procrastinator. Like, this is just who I am, Jen. Bullshit. No, it's not. Right? So if we just take half, take a few that don't need to be done today, it could be throughout the week, it's only Tuesday, cut it in half and finish those tasks 100% and see how you feel. And by next week, we will have clarity on the thoughts that we need to create and the emotions that we need to create. And then, like any other hardware, repetition, repetition. Remember, life is habits. Our brain by default says, oh, I see that you drive a car every single day. I'm going to create this in habit for you so that we can conserve energy. I see that you brush your teeth every morning. I'm going to create this habit so you can conserve energy. I see that you procrastinate. I'm going to create this habit. See? The way to truly design your life is to live from a state of being in the present moment. And that's where you make your decisions, and that's where you think your thoughts. If you're suffering from depression, you're living in the past. And if you suffer from anxiety and overwhelm, you're living in the future. You're thinking about the future. You're no longer in the present moment. And if you just stay in the present moment, then you don't have fear. You don't have anxiety, because whatever it is you need to do, you just show up and do it in that moment. So there is no, oh my God, I have to do a Facebook Live and I'm so scared. Stop, I'm in the future. I don't have to do a Facebook Live for 3 hours. And when I do it, it's gonna be perfect. And for right now, what do I need to do in this moment? And be present and show up in this moment as who you want to become, as 7-figure mindset coach, as social media rock star, as real estate investor, badass realtor, number 1, number 10 in Phoenix, whatever that looks like for you guys. In the present moment, become that person. And then now you'll start to be aware of the thoughts coming from my lower self or my higher self. Am I surviving or am I thriving? And we're not going to thrive immediately, but you're going to create an awareness of all of the crap down here that's not helping you become this person up here. So if anyone doesn't have anything else, any questions, any feedback, do you guys like the 9 a.m. call? Do you want to keep them at 11? Do you care either way?
And we stay at 11. I'm supposed to feed my daughter at 9 and she's in there crying, but 11 is so much better for me and I didn't want to leave this.
Okay, we can keep it at 11. We can even do 10. Just let me know. The other thing is my birthday party. I'm gonna stop recording because the world doesn't need to know about my birthday. Well, yeah, I guess the rest of the world does. February 29th at Dos Gringos in Chandler. at 7 p.m. and it is kid friendly. There will be alcohol. There's a DJ that starts at like 9, I think. But there's a whole inside restaurant. It's an outdoor patio. If you've ever been to a Dos Gringos, that is going to be going down, and I plan on going gigantic. So
here's your theme song. See what I said? I'm coming out.
yeah,
That's your theme song.
now.
There you go. There you go.
I want the world to know. Yeah, that is my
That's your
theme song.
Mhm.
There's another one I was listening to. I think it was Pink this weekend while I was rocking out in my truck. And it wasn't like a song that I would be singing, but it was like a song that everyone will be singing as I'm walking into the room. And I was like, oh, this is my birthday party song.
And what's
But
the
yeah.
name of the restaurant?
It's called Dos Gringos, DOSGRINGOS. It's a Mexican restaurant. It's like a bar. It's got an indoor restaurant, and it's got like a big Jenga and a big Connect 4 and pool tables. And at 9 it turns into kind of like a dance club. But they're creating a menu where everything's $1, and this way we can go kids. It's kid friendly, but also for those of us who do partake in some beverages that will be available for purchase. So it just kind of, it's for everybody. It's family friendly, and then after 9 or 10, it'll kind of turn into a dance floor.
Okay.
So, and you all are invited to that. So, okay, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm gonna hop off the call. This is live inside Facebook, so you can go back and watch it. And it is recorded onto Zoom, so I will also send out the recording. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Love you guys.
Have a blessed day.
All right, bye.
Thank you.
Welcome.